Hello, everybody. Good morning. I see everybody jumping on. That's good. We've got it going. Got about another minute before we start. I imagine everybody will be jumping on. Let's see. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. See if I can get this into the screen. There we go. So those of you who wear a heart rate monitor, we can see that a little bit, can't we? Yeah. Those of you who wear a heart rate monitor, you can see what my heart rate does here the whole time. You can see right now, I'm using my zone, and I just put my little tile down here in the corner of the screen. You'll see it changing colors. I guess it's kind of hard to read the percentage. Oh, there you go. You can read it 43% right now in the gray. And as we continue to work out, you're going to see my color changing. I know some of you have heart rate monitors as well, so please wear them because I want to see how this workout affects your cardiovascular system. I can go in my zone and check it out. A lot of you I'm friends with on my zone, so I can see how this workout affected you today. But we're going to go ahead and get this meeting going. And we are going to start working out. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in my quarantine garage. Quarantine garage workout. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. All you guys need is a yoga mat. Okay. So just bear with me here 1 second. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and start with a warm up, you guys. A little bit of check knees to the side. So we're gonna go knees up to elbows, and you're trying to feel your core engage here, okay? Last week, remember, I said we're gonna do a little bit more stretching this week, which we will do. I will reserve a little bit more time at the end of this workout to go through some stretching, some mobility, some flexibility, okay? Let's go ahead and do some marching in place. This is all low impact. We're gonna do a few exercises today that require just a little bit of hopping, but I want you to remember the hopping, the amount, the velocity, the intensity in which you hop is entirely up to you. When we do get to that portion, we're going to be focusing primarily on deceleration, on moving slowly. All the movements today we want to be under control. Okay, let's go ahead and kind of get into that one knee up stance. Your arms are kind of like you're running. Okay, we're starting here, opposite hand up from the knee that's up. You're going to kick that leg back and switch with the arms, okay? Not enough power to get off the ground. We're just trying to stay balanced, feel the glutes engage as you kick that leg back. And let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Same thing on the other side. I'll go forward this time so you can see what it looks like. Opposite hand up. Kicking back, and then we're exhaling as we drive that knee up. I know this is, for some of you, these exercises are going to be challenging for your balance, and it's okay if you stumble to the side or you need to take a step because you lose your balance. That's okay, just come right back to it. Okay, take a deep breath and come right back to it. So right now we're just kind of waking up all the muscles. We're getting those neuromuscular junctions to fire. We're increasing the temperature of the muscles. We're getting that blood flow to increase into the muscles. Everything in our body right now is preparing for exercise. Let's do 2 more here. And okay, good. Go ahead and give me a squat next. Now I want this to be a nice wide stance, right? We're taking a nice wide stance. Our knees externally rotated the same direction as our feet. We want those angles on the knees to be the same as the toes here. And the whole goal is to recruit the glutes as much as possible, okay? So we're moving slowly here, and on the way up, it's squeeze the glutes, okay? Inhale down, exhale up. You should feel with this wider stance, you should feel your inner thighs working a little bit as well, especially as you come up to the top. Okay, but you should also feel it wrapping around your glutes in the back. On the way up, I like to say crack the walnut. So squeeze those butt cheeks together at the top. We want to try to engage the muscles as much as we can here. The squat is all about the glutes. Yes, we're working the quadriceps. Yes, we're working the hamstrings, the thighs a little, the inner thighs a little bit. All the muscles of the leg get worked, but we want to try to focus primarily on the glutes. So just body weight squats. Focus on feeling those muscles stay engaged at the bottom and then squeeze on the way up. You don't want your technique to be sloppy here, okay? We always want to feel like we have everything under control. You can see my heart rate elevating. Bottom of your screen, my little tile there, elevating into the blue zone. That's good. We're going to be probably blue, green zone mostly today. You might hit yellow a little bit into that 80th percentile. If you're not wearing a heart rate monitor, don't worry about it. You totally don't have to. This is just a way for you to see how much work I'm doing. And then if I am friends with you on my zone, I can go and check out the work that you did today as well. Let's do 2 more squats here. Good, okay, let's go ahead and get into a downward dog next. And from this position, we're gonna transition, we'll go sideways here so you can see it a little bit better, okay? From this position, what we're gonna do is hinge the hips as much as we can. So I wanna see you hinging your hips forward and drop your heels down. And then we wanna try to sink the torso down as far as we can. So now we're getting a stretch in the hamstrings, in the calves, behind the knees. You might even feel the stretch a little bit here in your back. And then we're gonna go forward. And I want you to drive your right knee forward to opposite elbow. Then kick back. And then we'll do the same thing with the other side. And then kick back, okay? Right back into downward dog, hinging at the hips. Exhale, inhale forward. Right knee opposite. Kick back, left knee opposite. Kick back. And we're trying not to use momentum. We're trying to use the muscles in the core. We don't want the hip flexors to take over, so we don't drive that knee forward fast. Instead, we exhale, squeeze through the core, touch that knee to the elbow if you can, kick it straight back, and then get the other side, same thing. Kick it back, hinge again. Good. This time, we're going to bring that knee to the same side elbow. Kick it back, set it down, opposite. Kick it back, set it down, hinge again. And forward one more time, just like that. Good, go ahead and come back into a child's pose with your knees wide and point your toes back behind you and then sink back into the child's pose. Just a little bit of a hip stretch here. Okay, go ahead and stand back up. We're gonna do some lunges next. We're gonna start with a lateral lunge as a warm-up, okay? So we're gonna be arms out wide for balance. Bring that knee up. Moderate step out to the side. All your body weight transfers to this leg. Hip, knee, ankle in a straight line. Just enough power to get back up. Okay, now when you flare that leg out to the side, I want you to extend and really feel the muscles in your hips here. And then moderate step out, gently come down into the lunge. Just enough power to get back up without toppling over the side. Arms can come in here, keep the torso tall. What we don't want to do is lean that torso forward and round the back. You want to keep a nice tall torso here. So when I step out to the side, see, my posture is up rather than rounded, okay? Just up like that, okay? So all of that body weight is going to this leg, trying to push off the heel, the midfoot, use the glutes as you drive that leg up. Let's do 3 more, and then we'll switch to the other side. Okay, same thing on the other side. Starting with the knee up, you might need to scoot over to create some space. Just enough power to get up. Drive the knee up, right back out. Exhaling on the way up, out of the lunge. Inhaling as you come down. Every time you pull the knee up, you should also try to pull that toe up towards the knee. Let's get 3 more here. Good. Okay, have a seat on your butt, on your yoga mat, or on the floor. We're going to do a little core exercise here. So it's kind of like a crab walk position. Your hands are going to be back. Your hips are going to be up, but not up as high as you can get them. Okay, I just want you to keep your toes up off the ground. Keep your heels planted firmly. You're going to use your glutes a little bit here to keep your hips up. And we're going to transfer our body weight over to one hand and bring opposite foot and hand up together. And then back down, okay? So let's alternate sides. Transferring body weight. As you put the body weight onto your single arm there, try not to lock out your elbow. Try to keep a slight bend in that elbow so you're really using the triceps of that arm to help stabilize. Gotta keep alternating sides. Let's do 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and come over into, on the all fours, the quadruped position here. Okay. From this position, I want your toes tucked under. Your knees are going to be right underneath your hips, and you're going to have a soft bend in your elbow. Okay. We're going to flare that leg out to the side and then kick it straight back. Drive it forward out to the side and then flare back down. Flare out to the side, drive back, forward, back in, back out. As you flare that knee out to the side, try not to really allow your hips to elevate super high. I don't want you to rotate the hips all the way open like that. Okay? Keep your hips kind of squared to the ground. And you'll feel this a lot more in your glutes, especially when you kick back, right where your glutes, your glute medius, your upper butt meets your lower back. We're trying to engage all those muscles here. Let's get 3 more on this side, and then we'll switch to the other side. Make sure that you've got these 3 different movements. All right, I flare out, kick back, drive it forward, and back down. Okay, and we'll do last one here. Good, go ahead and switch it over to the other side. I'll change positions here so you can see what it looks like. Here, not really elevating my hip too high, kicking straight back. And again, I'm not kicking high when I kick back. I'm just trying to lead primarily with my heel as I kick back. And that's what's really allowing me to get in and feel it in the glutes, feel it in those external rotator muscles of the hips. If you want to start to take 2 breaths here, that's fine too. Exhaling, just make sure you exhale as you drive that heel back. Here we go. You should definitely be feeling this in your hips. Let's get 3 more here. And then we're going to hop back up on our feet. Okay, last one. Flare, kick, drive it forward, bring it down. Okay, let's go ahead and stand back up on our feet, you guys. We're going to do some lunges, and we're going to lunge reaching over the top. So it's going to be a reverse lunge. I'll go ahead and stand right here so you guys can see me in the frame. Okay, so we'll start with one leg up. Let's go ahead and start with that right leg. I'm going to drop back into the lunge, keeping my rear heel high, sinking my rear knee down towards the ground. I'm gonna twist the direction over the forward leg and then reach back. So whatever leg is forward, you're twisting your torso that direction and then reach back over the top. You're kind of creating almost the letter C here. You should feel a stretch down the side. Twist back forward, bring the knee up high, set it down, change to the other side this time. Sink the knee down low, keeping the heel high. This time, twisting the opposite direction, reaching over the top. Create that letter C with your arms. Feel the stretch down your side. Come back to the middle. Come up out of the lunge and switch to the other leg. Now let's switch to the other side again. We're gonna keep alternating sides. As you're down in the bottom of the lunge, you've noticed that's the hard part, staying in this lunge. And when you come up out of the lunge, really try not to push off the rear foot. We're trying to make that front leg do all of the work here. And keep alternating sides. Twist. Feel that stretch. All the work right here in the hips. Come back to the middle. Drive off that front leg without really pushing off the rear foot at all. Switch to the other side. Keep your breathing. Good. Alternate again. Bringing that knee up high every time. Again, the front leg is doing most of the work. Let's get one more on each side. Okay, last one here. Grab the knee up. Keeping the heel high when you step back. Lunge. Twist. Back to the middle. Standing up tall. Okay, good. Go ahead and shake it out a little bit. Let's come back down into the push-up position, okay? So we're gonna go, I'll show you from the side, starting with your shoulders over your hands, okay? We're gonna drive back, supporting your body weight here. Don't let your knees touch the ground. Forward, lift, opposite knee, kick back, down, just the one. Back again, other side this time. Lift, opposite knee to elbow, kick it back, drive back. Alternating sides. Focus on your breathing. Keep alternating sides here. If you want, you're feeling strong today, you can add a push-up for these last few. Drive it back. Optional push-up. Get one more on each side. Last one. Okay, good. Go ahead and stand back up on your feet. We're going to do another balance exercise. We're going to come back up onto one foot. Let's start with the right knee up. Arms are out wide for balance. Okay, we're going to kick this leg back. As you kick this leg back, you're going to bring your hands down towards the ground. Try to touch the ground right in front of your foot. You can't touch the ground, touch your leg. Okay, and then come all the way back up. We're going to stay on this same leg. So it's kind of a partial squat. Takes a lot of balance. You're trying to kick back and lean forward at the same time. Right, I'm counterbalancing with that leg that I kick back. Okay, and if we can really try to kick a straight leg here when you kick back, it's really going to help you counterbalance. But again, it does take some flexibility to get all the way down to the ground and a fair amount of strength. So don't worry if you can't touch the ground, just come close and then come on back up. You should be feeling this in the arch of your foot, of the down leg, and your hips. Okay, try best you can. Keep your balance. I'm losing my balance here too. This is not an easy exercise. Good. Okay, let's get one more, and then we'll switch to the other side. Okay, go ahead and shake that foot out a little bit. A few ankle circles if the foot's cramping up. Let's go ahead and switch to the other foot. Same thing here, starting with the knee up high. Kick the leg back. Okay, make sure you're exhaling as you kick back and hinge forward right here. Take a breath in and then exhale. Come on back up. If you can time your breathing like that, it makes it a lot easier to balance. Back. Good, you should be feeling this in your hip as well, of that down leg. Of course, the arch of that foot starts to cramp up a little bit, but it's a lot of work in the hip here. Okay, let's get two more on this side. Last one. Good, okay. We're gonna do a little bit of a hopping exercise. So I want you to keep a really small range of motion. It can be the smallest little hop you want. Okay, a little hop like that's fine, okay? We're gonna try to keep our balance. And what I want you to do is really focus on the landing, okay? So when I hop, I absorb that landing with this leg. Okay, you can make it a little bit bigger if you want. Depends on how big you want to go. Use your arms. Okay, but we're focusing on that nice, slow, controlled landing. Arms are helping you balance. Every time you land, that other leg, notice the knee's coming up high. Let's keep that knee coming up a little bit. You want to go a little bit bigger, you're more than welcome to, but you don't have to. You can just keep this nice, slow, controlled movement. Keep your breathing. Keep that knee coming up high. You'll feel that hip flexor in your leg right here as you lift that leg. Starting to feel that cramp up maybe. Okay, let's get 6 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, okay, let's go ahead and come down onto your back. Okay, come right down onto your back here. We're gonna do a hamstring exercise. So I want your head resting on the ground. Your hands are gonna be flat here on the ground. I want you to keep your toes elevated. See if you can keep your toes elevated the entire time. Okay, so first what we'll do, you take a practice rep here, feeling the glutes engage, driving off the heels, feeling the hamstrings engaged here. Okay, you're gonna come back down. Now you have the option here. You can stay with driving the hips high like this, or bring your feet a little bit closer together. And as we come up, you're gonna drive one leg up as well. Okay, let's alternate sides. Now you have an option here as well. If you're driving the one leg up, you have the option to keep the knee bent. Or when you drive that hip up, you can straighten the leg out. Okay, either one works. Whichever one you're feeling is more appropriate for you right now, you do that one. Okay, but again, as we drive up, no matter how you're bringing that opposite leg up, the goal is to still
get the hips to go as high as possible. So we're still trying to really drive off the heel of that foot off the ground, on the ground. I mean. It really activates the glutes just on that individual side. Try not to let the pressure go to your neck. Keep your body weight when you drive up on your shoulders. Okay, now come back down to the ground. Bring your feet a little bit wider. Keep your toes up, but your knees now are going to be angled out just a little bit. And we're going to drive, keeping both feet on the ground. Drive your hips up as high as you can. Again, you should feel it wrapping around your hips a little bit as you hold this position in both your hamstrings and your glutes. Okay, go ahead and come back down. Back up, exhale. This time as you're up here, I want you to actually try to get your knees to come a little bit wider in the up position and feel it wrap around the hips a little bit more. Bring your knees back in a little and back down. Okay, so we're gonna go up, knees wider, still driving high, knees closer, and back down. Wide, close, back down. Wide, close, back down. Wide, close, back down. Let's get 3 more just like this. Wide, close, back down. Okay, 2 more. Wide, close, back down. Last one. Wide, close, back down. Good. Let's go ahead and roll over in to the push-up position again. Okay. This time from the push-up position, we're going to do a tripod and we're going to kick one leg over the top. Do a little bit of a scorpion kick here. Okay. This one is kind of challenging. We start here in the push-up position. You're going to drive one leg up as you come back into downward dog. It's kind of a tripod. You're going to let that foot kick down and back behind you. You're going to open your hips up towards the ceiling, driving that knee up towards the ceiling as high as you can. Come back, point the toe high, and forward back to the push-up position. And then let's alternate to the other side. All the way up and over, opening up the hips towards the ceiling, pointing that knee up high. Feel the stretch in your abdominals a little bit. Back over, kick the leg high, and right back down to push-up position. Alternate to the other side. Up high, over the top, up high, and back down. Okay, other side. Point it up high, back down, nice and slow and controlled. One more on each side. Last one. Point it high. Good. Okay. You have an option here. We're going to do some push-ups. 10 push-ups. We're going to go slowly. You can do them on your knees if you want. It's up to you. If you're on your knees, it's like so. Your hips come with you. If you're not on your knees, okay, it's feet, knees off the ground, shoulders over the hands. Here we go. 10 push-ups, nice and slow on my count. Down. 1. Exhale on the way up. Down. 2. Down. 3. Down. 4. Down. 5. Keep your core tucked. 6. Don't let this happen to your back. Keep your tailbone tucked under. 7. 3 more. 8. 9. Last one. 10. Go to a downward dog. Sink back into a downward dog. Let the heels come down low. Let your torso drop as far as you can. Forward back to the push-up position. Let your knees come down to the ground. Okay. Another core exercise for you. I want you to make sure that your hands are right underneath your shoulders when you do this next exercise, okay? Get your knees a little bit closer together. Your knees are right underneath your hips, okay? We're going to do an opposite arm leg extension, reaching as far forward as you can, kicking that leg back as far as you can. Cat cow, okay? Inhale, extend. Exhale, drive the elbow to knee. Keep a soft bend in that elbow of the arm that's on the ground. Good, let's get 3 more on this side, and then we'll switch to the other side. Okay, switch it over to the other side. Same thing, opposite arm leg extension. Reach the hands forward, lead with the heel as you kick back. Exhale, drive them together. Good, let's get 4 more. Last 2. Good, okay. Go ahead and have a seat. As promised you guys, I said we'd do some more stretching this time. So I'm gonna reserve about the last 9 minutes here for stretching. So have a seat on your butt, and we're gonna do a butterfly stretch first. And then I want you to have your feet together. And I want your feet as close to your body as you can have them right now. Okay, you're gonna have your hands underneath your feet here. And then you're just gonna use your elbows to press your knees down further as you lean forward. Okay, now when you lean forward, your goal is to try to get your hips to roll forward with this stretch. So don't lean forward and do this and around your back. We want to try to lean and get the hips to roll forward as we press our elbows into our knees, and you'll feel that stretch go deep into your hips. It wraps around that inguinal crease in the hips. And you can let your head and neck relax here. You can let that drop down a little bit. But again, you're trying to get the whole torso to hinge the hips a little bit further forward, and you feel that stretch deepen in the inner thighs. Okay, from this position, go ahead and slide your feet further forward, keeping your feet together. Keep the soles of your shoes or your feet together. Okay, and again, we're gonna hinge at the hips first, but now we're allowing our body to fold forward a little bit and bend. That's fine on this stretch. And then I want you to go ahead and let your head come forward towards your feet. You'll feel this stretch in a slightly different spot. Your lower and mid back, in a slightly different spot in the hips. Okay, let's go ahead and get into a sprinter's lunge next. So we're gonna have 1 foot forward, the other leg, you're gonna drive back a bit, and I want you to point that toe. And the goal here is to sink the hips as far forward as possible, getting this hand down to the ground. We can hang out here in this stretch. You really wanna feel it in the front of your leg. You should feel it going deep into your core as well, into your psoas. Okay, there's an option for some of you here. You want to go a little bit deeper into this stretch. If you feel like you want to do that today, come down onto your elbows, onto your forearms. So from a different angle, it looks like this. I'm here. And then I come down onto my forearms, okay? And you can let that leg come out, that knee come out to the side a little bit. That's fine. Changes the stretch a little. Okay, you can also, from this position, push this knee out and turn your torso the opposite direction that you're pushing your knee. You'll feel that also change the stretch a bit. Again, this is just if you want to go a little bit deeper into the stretch from traditional sprinter's lunge. Okay, let's go ahead and come back into a hamstring stretch next. So that's squaring the hips up. I'll show you from the side what it looks like. Okay, we're here. This toe is up. We're going to try to hinge at the hips and bring the opposite hand down towards the ground, keeping this leg straight, keeping a flat back. Try not to allow your back to round like this. If your back rounds like this, it decreases that stretch. You feel it go away, right? So flatten your back out. Get the hips to rotate forward. It's an anterior pelvic tilt. So the more we can get the hips to come with the torso here, the more we're going to feel that stretch into the hamstring, behind the knee, even down into the calf a little bit. Got to make sure that you're on the back of your heel, that toe's pointed straight up, almost like you're going to be dragging your foot out of a shoe if you're wearing a shoe. Okay, from here, let's go right into a pigeon pose. So that's bending this leg, sinking forward into it. I'll go straight forward for you on this one. Okay, the other leg is kicked back behind you, toe pointed back. We're going to stay postured up here first. Okay, but I want you to try the rear leg that's kicked back. I want you to try to turn that hip down towards the ground. And as you turn that hip, you should feel the stretch increase on the outside of the hip of the knee that's forward. Now, if you feel that increase, great. If you want to take it a little bit further, you're welcome to. All you need to do, the direction this knee is pointed off to that angle, reach your opposite hand forward, reach it as far as you can, get your torso to come forward, and drop that torso, twist that shoulder down towards the ground. For some people, this increases the stretch in their hip. For some people, this also takes the stretch to another place, into your core a little bit, a different spot in your hip. You're welcome to continue to do this stretch. If you'd like to just stay up here, totally fine, okay? Whichever stretch is feeling better for you today, that's which one I want you to do. Okay, we can also bring both hands straight forward here and get a slightly different stretch in that hip. You might feel that that increases the stretch in the hip a little bit for you. Okay, let's go ahead and switch to the other side, starting with the sprinter's lunge. Okay, so we've got this foot forward, other foot forward. I like to start up tall here and then sink forward into it. I feel that stretch go straight down the front of this leg. If you have tight hamstrings, you might even feel it on the hamstrings of the front leg a little bit. Again, let's stay postured up here and sink the hips as far forward as we can. Stretch should be coming right down the front of that rear leg. You might even feel it in the inner thighs a little bit. And we're trying to keep those hips square to the ground. If you want to take this stretch deeper, bringing your forearms down onto the ground and allowing this leg to fall out to the side a little bit, you're welcome to do that. You totally don't have to. Again, that part's optional. And if you want to press this leg out, turn your torso away, another optional stretch here. Take it to a slightly deeper and different place. Okay, let's go ahead and bring that leg back in. We're going to rock back to that hamstring stretch again. I'll show you from the side for this one. Now you guys understand why I have 2 yoga mats out, laid down in a cross position, so I can demonstrate some exercises sideways and the other exercises straight forward. Again, we're trying to hinge the hips as much as we can. Notice the flat back. I just have my hand on this hip, try to push this hip down a little bit. I notice that when I push this hip down, it increases that stretch just slightly in the hamstrings here. But again, our hips leaning forward, hinging forward, are about our ability to keep our torso engaged and keeping our torso attached to that anterior pelvic tilt of the hips. Okay, let's go ahead and take this into a pigeon pose next. We'll go straight forward for this one. And this foot, remember, it's wherever's comfortable for you. If it's way forward, it might place a lot of torque on the knee. So I usually like to bring it a little bit further back. Square up those hips because that's going to start to get that stretch on this side. That's what we're looking for. We're going to stay postured up here first, trying to turn those that hip down towards the ground, getting that rotational stretch here in the hip on the other side. Okay, go ahead and take a couple of calm breaths here. We are running low on time, you guys. We just have a couple minutes left. So if we get cut off here in the meeting, if we get cut short, I just want to thank all of you now for joining me, for spending 40 minutes of your Sunday morning, or for wherever you are, Sunday afternoon for some of you, Sunday evening for some of you, if you joined from Europe area. We're all getting through this quarantine dream together. I know that some of you I haven't seen in a long time. Some of you I used to coach years ago who hopped on this call today. So I'm really happy to see that you guys joined me. And for those of you, I saw a couple people that I currently train jumping on as well. So it's nice to be able to still coach you guys, even though I don't get to physically be right in front of you. It's great to be able to at least share a little bit of this time with you and give you some sort of sanity, keeping you motivated and working out. Because we all need it. Now's the time to be focusing on ourselves in terms of fitness, education, everything that we want to do to try to better ourselves. Let's do one more stretch here. We're going to keep our feet close together. We're going to squat down, and you're going to try to grab your feet here. If you can only grab your shins, that's okay. But I want you to come down as low as you can, okay? And then when you get here, bring your elbows into your knees and try to press wide. This is an inner thigh stretch. Last stretch we're going to do. Shoulders back, chest up. So like I said, moderate intensity, not too challenging. I wasn't trying to torture you this Sunday. I just wanted to help you work on some of your mobility, some of your strength, your balance, your coordination, a lot of your hip strength, your core strength. It's nice to have some supplemental workouts like these in and amongst everything else that you're doing throughout your weekly regimen. I'll do this workout again, quarantine workout number 3 next Sunday. So hopefully you're doing some other things in the meantime. Hopefully you've got 3 or 4 other days where you're working out, maybe with somebody else. There's lots of people doing lots of workouts right now, but I hope to see you guys all next Sunday, same time. Thanks again for joining me all. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.